You like my utensils? They're really fancy. Turns out Levon has the bus, and they're all on there, so I have a knife. But anyhow, Charlie Creelman was here yesterday. We were working on his truck, and he owns a restaurant, cooks some really mean food, and he brought us all kinds of stuff, probably enough for tacos for 50 people, I don't know. So we got some fillets, we got some pork belly, there's a brisket in there. He made us a whole big pan full of fresh pico, brought us avocados, all kinds of different sauces. So we're gonna have us a feast for lunch today. Thanks a lot, Charlie.
Numbers are at, then I will adjust after the fact. Alright, we have Josh Byerly's 2007 truck here on the dyno today. He just put the truck together. I will let him run over the setup on it, and we can go from there.
Injector wise, got Exergy 250% overs, 14 mil race pump. Air side, got a Sosh Fab kit with a forced inductions 476 9310 single charger, 188 220 cam, all the sporting mods, stock bottom end, so hoping to keep all the rods in it today.
Yeah, well, we'll try our best, but should be a pretty rowdy setup on it. So I will flash a revision into it and get started on it. So we ended the day with 1,121 horsepower and 1,389 foot-pounds of torque. Not sure if we could have squeezed more out of it with him still having a stock head on it. We added 200 US and it only picked up 40 horsepower, 30 horsepower. So for the amount of fuel that I added and it only picking up 40 horsepower tells me that he is either air limited and most likely that being caused by his stock head. So he wanted at least 1,100 horsepower. We got him that number, so he is happy with it, especially with it being a stock bottom end and it's still living. So I will get him off the dyno and send him on his way.
All right, we are getting ready to gear up for Rocky Top here in a few weeks, and had a good bit of work to do on the S10. When we went to testing before Holly Rock, we dropped the valve, and at first we didn't think it was a very big deal until we got the head off, and turned out we had dropped the valve and it spit it up and chewed it out before we knew what happened, and beat up some pistons and beat up the head somewhat. So ended up pulling the engine out and are getting all of the valves taken care of. We knew that we were on the verge of tuliping some valves, and we're planning to service it at this point anyhow, but weren't planning on it breaking, I guess. So going through some of that stuff, and then in the meantime we're doing a few updates. Going to end up moving our oil tank and redoing the fuel cell, really just trying to open up the driver's side of the engine compartment to make so we can work on stuff better. And then as you can see here, the door still needs attention from when we blew it off at No Prep Kings. Ended up glassing the exterior handle shut on the old door and making to where we can make it match the other door. We decided it wasn't worth it getting a whole new door. It's kind of a process with these being 2 inches shorter. You actually have to go buy a door, cut it down, re-glass it, and it's a big hot mess. So we decided to roll with the door that we have. So need to get the wrap guy out here to get that fixed up yet. Need to put Lexan in it and finish some of that stuff up. So we've also been looking at our nitrous system a good bit. Just talking with some guys that do a lot of big nitrous cars. They said pretty much with the jets and stuff that we have, we're not using near the amount of nitrous that we should through that setup. So been trying to make sure that we don't have any restrictions in our feed lines, and also making sure that we're not flashing the nitrous to a gas in the line somewhere. So when you have to push the gas through the nozzle, you get a lot less nitrous through than if you can get a liquid through the nozzle. So been doing some tests with that. Haven't really come up with just a whole lot yet on that, but hopefully we're really needing more nitrous on the truck so that we can get our air fuel ratios where we want it and keep temps in check. So some way or another we'll get that figured out and get more nitrous on the truck before Rocky Top. So busy couple weeks coming up. Need to finish some of that stuff and get the engine back in next weekend, and hopefully be testing at Rocky Top and ready to hit the road running.